Here's a good news alert. The Augusta Animal Shelter's Home for the Holiday program was a big success. 38 pets have found new homes.
Yeah, 43 in all. That is 12 cats and 31 dogs. They left the shelter to stay with some two-legged families over the Thanksgiving holiday. 38 of them, though, have permanent homes.
Great.
Yeah, it was a good trial run, so thank you to the families who stepped up. If you want to try it out with a furry friend, the Augusta Animal Shelter will do this program again December 18th. Pups like Francis and Tulip and Venus say thank you.
It's a good way to know if a dog is a good fit or a cat for your family.
Exactly. All right, we want to take a live look now out over the area.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Choppers, bloodhounds, and boots on the ground. It's been 3 days now. Still no sign of a man at the center of this massive manhunt.
This is Trevante Langford, and he is wanted for kidnapping, criminal sexual conduct, and aggravated domestic violence. There is his photo. News 12's Maria Sellers live now from the Edgefield County Sheriff's Office. And Maria, we just heard they're scaling back the search efforts, but they say that doesn't mean they're giving up. What does it mean?
Well, Laura, it means that the police are going to continue to search out here, and these incident reports are 15 pages of what police say led to this crime. Most of Langford's charges are related to domestic violence, and the sheriff says the severity and sensitivity of these crimes are why they will not give up the hunt.
I know we've been a little close to the chest on a lot of this information. It is extremely sensitive. It is all domestic related. So we are protecting the victim here.
Some of the charges outlined in the reports include harassing phone calls, violence, and threats.
They have been threatened. They have been terrorized by Langford. And we will continue to protect the victim at all costs.
While they continue to hunt, community members are growing concerned.
Everyone's worried, concerned for their children and their families. All the doors are locked all the time.
Yes, I'm very concerned about my family, my friends, and the town of Edgefield. So they need to really get this guy off the road.
He's still out there, and obviously he's going to be looking to, find some way to escape. So it's a little bit concerning.
And police say they are hopeful that the length of this hunt will lead to Langford tiring out and make for a smoother capture. They will continue to keep searching and keep boots on the ground in that wooded area, but they have scaled back the search just slightly. Reporting live in Edgefield, Maria Sellers on your side.
Okay, I know everybody will rest a lot more soundly when he's caught.
Right, Maria, thanks for the live update there. To weather now, and we are obviously here in downtown North Augusta, where the city's just about to light up its tree and a lot more lights all around town. So let's send things out to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. And Riley, it's cooled off some since this afternoon, and I saw you nearly in short sleeves.
It has cooled off a little bit, Richard. Temps in the 50s here. Everyone is bundled up, but we are getting down to the final moments before we do light this Christmas tree. Mayor Williams is saying a few words right now just to the crowd to let them know how appreciative he is of everyone attending tonight, and we do have a huge crowd out here. We had the Boy Scouts out here roasting marshmallows. We had two different middle schools from North Augusta Middle, and also Paul Knox Middle School. They're playing Christmas carols tonight. You can just see the crowd out here. It's a great atmosphere, great family atmosphere, food, there's drinks, and there is everything ready to go. So I think, let's see if Mayor Williams is still just speaking a few more minutes, and once he is done, we are going to give him that signal to light the switch. So we are just going to keep holding steady. But as far as the weather goes, we got into the mid-60s this afternoon. We're dropping into the 50s. It's cooling off. You can see everyone's kind of bundled up out here. But just a great scene. It is just bringing in that Christmas spirit across North Augusta, and just continue to see just beautiful weather really for the rest of the week. A lot of kids out here having fun, running around. This is at Calhoun Park in the look-away in if you're not familiar with the North Augusta tree lighting. But
hey, Larry, If I could jump in, what's something you said is really interesting. When they throw that switch, all the lights in all the city parks and all the intersections, all those Christmas lights come to life at the same moment. It's going to happen in about a minute or so from now. So we're going to hang with you, Riley, and just watch all this unfold in North Augusta.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. We were trying to time this out perfectly. We misjudged the time a little bit, but it looks like Mayor Williams now talking to Santa Claus, so we're going to hear a few words from him.
Less than a minute away.
And, hey, the big man's here. Yeah, less than a minute away. We are getting close.
Yeah, he doesn't make many trips out there on live television, but Santa has visited Look Away Inn in North Augusta, where, as you can see, there's a huge crowd on hand. We had to scale everything back the last couple of years because of COVID, but it looks like this tradition has come back very strong. As Riley mentioned, they have fires going on out there with s'mores, and they have a couple of middle school bands giving us the Christmas music, and Mayor Britton Williams interviewing the big man himself right now as we look at about 15 seconds away.
There we go, Richard. Mayor Williams, he's saying he's about to start it, so I think we're about to have to give him the signal. All right, we're getting to the countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1. How about that? There we go. The big Christmas tree in Calhoun Park is now lit, starting the Christmas season for 2021 in North Augusta. Great crowd out here. Lights are on around the entire city, all the way down Georgia Avenue. Just a great scene here in North Augusta, guys.
All right, Riley, thanks so much for taking us there live, and it is officially Christmas time in North Augusta. Making housing more affordable in Augusta, it's something city leaders are working toward after our I-team first exposed the problem 2 months ago. We've got News 12's Kennedy Harris with the details about a new loan program that's on the table.
Rising rent costs, growing homelessness, and few available homes. All the little fires flaming Augusta's affordable housing crisis.
We see folks, being evicted or, the rental market increasing and things of that nature. Providing access to home ownership pathways is vital.
In Chambers, the city administrator presented his affordable housing loan plan.
There is a different approach to solving a complicated issue.
Partnering with 2 local banks, the program will recruit people currently getting assistance from Augusta Housing and Community Development or the Housing Authority. The program will provide banking accounts, financial literacy trainings, and guidance to owning a home, while breaking some credit and payment barriers and providing loans.
And then ensuring that we have tools that make not only the homes affordable, but accessible to folks that they may not have been before.
But Augusta's problem isn't just access to housing, it's that there isn't enough housing.
Well, I think that what we're talking about goes hand in hand. Because before we can offer affordable housing to someone, we have to have affordable housing. We have to build affordable structures.
Commissioner Johnson, along with the Homelessness Task Force, is working to create more affordable housing. One avenue is through blight redevelopment.
And this is certainly one leg of a stool that is solving the affordable housing crisis.
Kennedy Harris, on your side.
So this plan has not been approved yet. It still has to be voted on by the full commission first. In the meantime, the Homelessness Task Force says they're getting ready to present their plan soon, and they'll be heading to Savannah next week to tour their tiny home village with the goal of maybe bringing something like that to Augusta.
Also tonight, a new forcible entry policy now in effect for Augusta, Richmond County firefighters. This comes nearly 3 months after the I-team exposed how a previous policy kept firefighters from forcing their way into the home of an Augusta woman while she was in there begging for help.
Go across with the address of your emergency.
Oh God, I cannot breathe.
You said you can't breathe?
I can't breathe.
Okay, can we go ahead and get first responders in route, Richmond County?
You got it. I live by myself. I don't know if I can make it to my front door.
If you can't make it to the front door, we're gonna have to gain entry, okay?
I'm fine.
They're gonna have to kick your door down, okay?
Well, our I-team found they stood outside her door for 15 minutes waiting for a deputy to arrive before they tried to go inside. Nicole Gaither died before firefighters ever reached her. The forcible entry policy required a deputy to be there on the scene before entering a home. Today, that policy changed.
I look forward to the opportunity to present a final review to commission, to committee, as well as best practices and recommendations for us moving forward. As part of that policy and review, I've instituted, as you see, a new forcible entry policy. That policy is in effect and current as of today.
The chief says the new policy gives firefighters more latitude to take actions they deem appropriate while prioritizing their own safety at the scene. A local lawsuit in federal court. Today, a judge in Columbia heard a case against the Savannah River site and the vaccine mandate it has in place.
Nearly 100 employees are suing SRS because they say requiring vaccination is beyond the company's legal rights. You might remember, under an executive order from President Biden, all federal contractors must be fully vaccinated by December 8th, which applies to workers at SRS. SRS, after hearing that, rolled out their own guidelines to get everybody in before that deadline, requiring employees to get a first dose by October 15th and then be fully vaccinated by today, November 30th.
Now, the Biden administration says it's pumping the brakes on penalties for unvaccinated federal employees until next year.
News 12's Sloan O'Cone is live in our newsroom with what this means for those SRS employees at risk of losing their jobs tomorrow who are not fully vaccinated yet. So, Sloan, walk us through it.
Well, there was a lot of frustration and disappointment in the courtroom today. So many plaintiffs showed up to hear the deliberations, but not everyone could fit into the courtroom because of their COVID protocols. Today is the first time SRS actually acknowledged employees who are not fully vaccinated will be on unpaid leave. I spoke with one former employee who says this is just more than the vaccine.
Yeah, I'd like my job back, but I'm here today because I think this is bigger than just me and my job. I think that our religious liberties are actually under attack.
Ginger Humphreys is one of 79 plaintiffs who requested religious exemption to the vaccine mandate and was denied.
To inject myself with something that I feel is vile, yes, I would choose my right to resist than to choose my job. I shouldn't be put in that position.
The plaintiffs are calling this a, quote, repugnant choice between their job and health. It's not about the financial loss, but the principle. The arguments focused on the overall concerns about the vaccine and what they feel is a lack of exemptions. Others feel frustrated a corporate doctor decides and not someone more personal.
See, these vaccine mandates by a corporation constitute the unauthorized practice of medicine in South Carolina. You just can't do that. Only a doctor can do that, and the statute makes it very clear, in our opinion, that they step over the line.
SRNS says there are currently 59 permanent and temporary medical exemptions, but did not clarify which of each. They did not address the specifics of what determines a medical or religious exemption. The defense says the mandate creates a requirement to continue working there. They say it's a response to previous COVID numbers and deaths, not just the federal mandate. They claim employees have been aware of this since September. They say right now, only 51 of nearly 6,000 employees are not vaccinated. SRS says no one has been terminated, but they're on unpaid leave.
And I wasn't able to speak to attorneys for SRS today, but they also said in court the case is asking the judge to speculate and question an employer safety policy. The judge will make a decision by Friday.
Strong opinions in a federal courtroom. Sloan, thanks for the update there from our newsroom.
All right, Sloan, still ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock, helping our veterans seek higher education. We've got a closer look at a bill making it easier to get a degree in South Carolina.
And we're also live tonight from North Augusta's tree lighting. That place just came fully to light moments ago. We're going to check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale out there with our forecast for tonight and the days ahead. And you could say it happens all of the time. So how do we keep trucks from hitting the Olive Road overpass? We're going to ask the city's Director of Engineering. I will allow one pun per year.
The last...
You know it, I know it. It is a magnet for crashes in Augusta, and it's only a matter of time before the next box truck finds itself stuck under the Olive Road overpass.
The number of crashes is climbing, but now there are new funds hoping to fix the problem. We've got News 12's Will Vogt with what changes the city is considering.
The Olive Road Bridge has been struck by a truck 7 times this year. That's more than the last 2 years combined. But why?
Drivers are taking their chance. We just think they can get through it.
Augusta's director of engineering is trying to figure out what else to do. They already have speed humps, and they've got at least a dozen signs, including some that read, "No trucks." But what do we keep seeing? Trucks.
I mean, they need to follow the posted sign, you know?
Malik doesn't think they need to add more signs, but he does think something needs to be done. A truck hit the bridge last week, and that shut down the road for days. So what else can they do? He thinks the best way to solve the problem is a new bridge.
That's the only solution right now.
But he says they'll have to work together with the railroad to build it. He thinks it could take years and cost tens of millions of dollars.
You know, that kind of money is not easy to find.
But he hopes money from the infrastructure bill will help pay for it. And until they can find the money, you'll just have to follow the signs. In Augusta, Will Volk, on your side.
Can we not get just one thing hanging over the
We've
road
been
there?
asking that for
Like
years.
a parking deck would keep you out of a
Where
parking
that
deck.
red blinking light is, pull one of those fast food things. I'd rather hit that plastic thing than have to shut down the road
It cost
every other
about
week.
$75
Yeah,
to
you know
do
what?
that right.
We'll go fund me. We'll pay for it. It'll
All
be
right,
great.
before we get into trouble, some wet to weather now. We're going to send things back out. The first alert, Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale, live tonight, downtown North Augusta, where it looks a lot like Christmas right this very minute.
It does, guys. Perfect weather out here for the tree lighting that just happened a few minutes ago. Temperatures today actually were a little bit warmer for us. We made it into the 60s, but currently speaking, we are at 54 degrees here in North Augusta. A perfect evening to start off the Christmas season. Still a bunch of people out here. The crowd is starting to go down a little bit, but we had a great turnout here tonight here in North Augusta. For the rest of this evening, temps are going to be falling into the 40s, so it is going to be chilly, just not quite as cold as what we've seen the past several days. But skies will stay clear tonight, and those temperatures going to be getting cold tonight. We are expecting temps down to the mid and upper 30s by early tomorrow morning. Not quite as cold as what we've seen. We actually got down into the 20s again this morning. So tomorrow morning is going to be about 10 degrees warmer for us. Still cold, just not quite as cold as what we've seen. But another thing to mention weather-wise is that we've been extremely dry, and we still have very dry air in place. There is a high fire danger alert in effect for most of our southwestern counties through this evening. Now, we'll likely see these issued again tomorrow because our pattern just not expected to change too much. So if you can not burn, that would be ideal. We did see Fort Gordon do a controlled burn today. That west wind brought all that smoke inside Augusta and North Augusta as well. So if you did smell smoke earlier, it was thanks to Fort Gordon. But abnormally dry conditions currently across most of the two states. So this is starting to look more and more like drought weather for us, especially since the next 5 to 7 days. Just no rain or forecast, so it is going to stay bone dry for us and just not ideal to do any burning. But for our high temperatures, this is the good news. We are expecting a big warm up for the rest of the week. Low 70s Wednesday afternoon, mid 70s Thursday, and then upper 70s by Friday. That warmer weather will stick around through at least the first half of the weekend, but by Sunday we are expecting slightly cooler high temps back into the 60s as a weak front does move through Saturday night, but still not much rain expected with that front moving through. But today is the last day of November, which means it's the last day of the Atlantic hurricane season. We didn't make our way through every single name on this list. Luckily, we did not have to go into the supplemental name list, but it was a very active season for us. Luckily, it is smooth sailing heading into winter. There are no systems that we're currently monitoring in the Atlantic Basin. For that 7-day forecast, though, it's going to stay nice and sunny the next several days. Our temperature is going to be reaching the 70s tomorrow afternoon, only getting warmer over the next several days. So plenty of nice weather to get outside and enjoy it.
Beautiful sight there in North Augusta. Riley, thanks so much. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster in Aiken today, USC Aiken to be exact, there to sign a bill to help veterans get in-state tuition at all Palmetto State schools. For years, out-of-state veterans have been able to go to South Carolina colleges at the price of in-state tuition, but that bill he just signed puts something new on the table. So now vets no longer have to enroll within 3 years of their discharge to get that cheaper rate. News 12 Celeste Springer live with us in the studio with what this means for our local veterans. Celeste, take it away.
Well, it's big news for any veterans here in Georgia who want to head out to schools like USC Aiken and still get a cheaper education. So we took a look at this data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and you can see where the unemployment rate for veterans stands within each state, and you can see that in South Carolina, unfortunately, as of 2017, it was relatively high, 5%. However, in Georgia, it drops down. In Georgia, at that time, it was 3.5%. We found that this has been historically this way. Even here in 2020, we found that the data showed that South Carolina lagged behind Georgia by 1% in how many jobs they had for veterans in the state.
I feel like they actually are starting to really care about veterans.
Michelle Coleman is one of the many veterans living in Georgia who can get in-state tuition in South Carolina thanks to Bill 241.
And this bill is helping those students like, okay, I have somewhere to go. I have something that's helpful. Someone is trying to help me, so I will try to help myself as well.
The bill could entice vets or their dependents on the GI Bill from all over the country into South Carolina schools.
And hope, like we've seen in so many cases, that they do decide to stay in South Carolina to be the economic workforce and community leaders we need.
And there's a need for an educated workforce.
We're in a knowledge economy. We're in a dangerous world situation, and the Cyber Command is something that has been is being built upon by schools, universities, USC in particular.
But what would keep graduates in South Carolina?
The same reasons that they came here in the first place.
Governor McMaster says he has no doubt veterans prepped with degrees will plant roots in the state. Meanwhile, others tell us this is a piece of a larger movement.
And it's another step forward as we continue to strive to make South Carolina the most veteran-friendly state in the country.
And USC Aiken tells us veterans make up about 7% of their student body, and it's actually not unheard of for veterans at that school to receive sometimes $30,000 to $35,000 in tuition assistance from the college.
Okay, good news for our veterans. Celeste, thank you. Tiger Woods talked today about being in the hospital, life post-accident, and Augusta, and he had a lot to say. We'll tell you the highlights next.
The accident on your insurance company. Under Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, Georgia's election laws are changing.
And changing for the better. We've increased security for absentee ballots by adding verification with your driver's license number or state ID. Just as easy and more secure. And Georgia verifies citizenship to ensure that only American citizens are on the voter rolls.
Secretary Brad Raffensperger is securing Georgia's elections. Visit securevotegA.com to learn more. Paid for by Help America Vote Act. The Live by Camera Network is brought to you by Mountaineer Pest Services.
Tiger Woods, he doesn't know if or when he'll be able to play professional golf again, but he held his first news conference in the Bahamas today.
Not a bad place to hold a news conference, but one of the first things he was asked, how's the past almost year been? And in short, not easy.
It's just hard to explain how difficult it's been. Just to be immobile for 3 months and just lay there, and I was just looking forward to just getting outside. That was a goal of mine, and especially for a person who has lived his entire life outside, that was a goal.
He said it was slow going. He went from being in a hospital bed for 3 months to a wheelchair to crutches, and he said he never realized how big his house was until he had to move on crutches.
Bonus though, he says he's built up some big muscles. You can see his arms look pretty tight there. Tiger says there's still a long way to go at his tournament. He's in the Bahamas, talking about one of the things he missed about the game.
Have to. The Live by Camera Network is brought to you by Mountaineer Pest Services.
Tiger Woods, he doesn't know if or when he'll be able to play professional golf again, but he held his first news conference in the Bahamas today.
Not a bad place to hold a news conference, but one of the first things he was asked, how's the past almost year been? And in short, not easy.
It's just hard to explain how difficult it's been. Just to be immobile for 3 months and just lay there, and I was just looking forward to just getting outside. And that was a goal of mine, and especially for a person who has lived his entire life outside, that was a goal.
He said it was slow going. He went from being in a hospital bed for 3 months to a wheelchair to crutches. And he said he never realized how big his house was until he had to move on crutches.
Bonus, though, he says he's built up some big muscles. You can see his arms look pretty tight there. Tiger says there's still a long way to go. At his tournament, he's in the Bahamas, talking about one of the things he missed about the game.
I just missed the jabbing, the needling, and how's everyone doing? And I mean, there's only so much you can do via text and phone calls. A lot happens, and we get caught up a lot out here on tour in locker rooms and having dinners and off-site stuff like that. So to be able to catch up with the guys this week, it'll be fun. I haven't seen majority of them since February. Some have come over to the house. Most of them have texted me.
Of course, he was asked when he would be able to play Augusta again.
I'll put you this way: as far as playing at the tour level, I don't know when that's going to happen. Now I'll play around here and there. A little hit and giggle, I can do something like that.
One positive thing, though, Tiger said this injury lets him focus more on his kids and on life in general, and he's going to turn that into a positive.
Yeah, he does seem to be in a fairly good headspace about it all.
A live look back at North Augusta. The lights are officially on. A weather check after a break.
Back here in North Augusta, we are seeing the last little bit of the crowd kind of die down here in Calhoun Park, but looking at your 7-day forecast, beautiful weather, folks. We are starting off the month of December, kind of more like spring weather for us. High temperature is going to stay in the 70s the next several afternoons, and actually getting into the upper 70s as we head into our Friday. Heading into the weekend, we are expecting a slight little temperature drop heading into Sunday, but still no rain in our forecast over the next 5 to 7 days.
And that's all of our time for News 12 at 6 o'clock.
We'll be back with you at 11. Have a great night.